So today I want to talk about this feeling of inadequacy that we feel when we know we should be doing something and yet we are still not doing it. And I want to share what is my experience and what was my experience during the PhD and how to put stuff together and how I thought something should be done and then I was still not doing it and then I was feeling stressed about not doing it but still not doing it and so on. And I see this pattern come up a lot with my clients where they have these situations of half-finished papers, half-finished drafts, something that they keep moving from one to-do list to the other. And when I started thinking a little bit about it, I realized I wanted to help these people. How come despite all of the coaching, despite all of this training that they received on productivity, on how to communicate, on how to express their thoughts, how to structure everything, they still struggle with that. And that reminded me of the situation that I was in during my PhD, in which I was in this constant hustle. There were so many things to do that I would just push them from one to-do list to the other. And this overall feeling of overwhelm was actually preventing me from making sure that I can start something and then finish it. Because the thing that would happen is that you would start something. For example, I would start writing my paper and then something urgent would come along and I would stop doing that and I would continue with something else. And I would just get so distracted with all of those things happening that I was in this constant hustle of, I would say, putting down fires of stuff that were coming along during the day or during the week. And this is the exact same pattern that I see happening with my clients. They have the will, they have the wish to do something, but then something more important comes along. Then something, more urgent, or someone needs something from them. And what I realized is that what really helps, and what helped me, and then I tested on my clients and it helped them as well, was to sort of separate the action from the structure. If I would come and sit down and say, okay, I need to write this paper. Or I would come to the library and say, okay, now I have 2 hours of writing. And then I would just sit there not knowing what to write about. So I would instantly get frustrated, which made me instantly more susceptible to all those external things like urgent stuff that are not urgent, but they're just more convenient for your brain. So you feel that you can a little bit what I call productive procrastination and really avoid the task that you wanted to do by doing something else that is also work stuff related, right? So all of those things would happen, and I realized that separating the action from the structure of the action is actually what helped me a lot. Because that way, when I would actually sit down to write or sit down to make that poster presentation, sit down to, whatever it is, would write some code, I would already knew what was coming. So I already pre-did the work of having to structure the thing, how is the task going to look like? I'm going to do this, then I'm going to write about this. My chapter 1 is going to consist of this and this and this. The figures are going to be this and this and this. All of this stuff is something that comes before you even start to do the task. And I feel this worked wonders for me, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. So hopefully you can do it with just one task. Take that one task that you have, for example, writing code or doing an analysis, and instead of just saying I need to do an analysis, do this pre-work of separating, of structuring the action. How is this analysis actually going to take place? What is my first step that I need to do? After that step, what is my second step? It doesn't matter if you then follow through it or not, because just that structure is already going to give you a huge peace of mind that is then automatically going to trigger that momentum that we are all looking for when we are trying to complete actions and stick to our calendars, basically. So I really hope that this advice is something that you find useful, and I encourage you to try it on your own. Try it on your own to-do list and try to do this structure of the action before putting the action on the to-do list. And this is exactly what I help STEM professionals do. So those people who have 47 tabs open, 150 papers to write on the to-read list, or not quite sure how to structure all of those things to make it make sense both for them and for others when it comes to projects, presentations, communicating their work, pitching their work, and so on, this is what I help STEM professionals with. And I want to invite you to schedule a completely free discovery call with me down here. I will put the link in the description. And in that call, we can sort of get the glimpse of what your work, what structure is your work missing, and how you can put it all together so that it makes sense, that you're not feeling that you're losing time every time you're trying to present your work, prepare a talk, write some papers, prepare a pitch for funding or whatsoever. So if you are curious to see how this would look like, this coaching would look like applied to your specific problems, issues, and challenges, I want to invite you to schedule a free call and let's talk about this together. So hopefully you found this video useful, and as always, see you next time in another video. Bye bye.